Welcome again to another episode of Sneaks Rounds in Life. I'm your host, Lionel McDonald. So once again, this is season 3. I think this is about episode 20. So we're well over 100 episodes, as I've mentioned before. But returning for season 3 is one and only Karen. How are you? AKA Kayinsnkrland. So Karen has the dubious distinction of being the only guest to be on all 3 seasons of this podcast. So bravo. Thank you for your commitment to the pod, Karen. We definitely love you. So much respect and admiration for wanting to do the podcast. And I still remember the first time you were on the pod, you were a little nervous. We had to like literally rehearse, and I almost had to talk you into it. And look at you now. You know, we see you now, and we'll get into it in a second. You are now doing IG lives. You're doing unboxings. So I don't know if I've created a social media monster. I don't know if I'm going to take that credit. I think I'll give all the credit to yourself. But yeah, maybe tell us about the hand in it.
You might have had a hand in it.
Maybe. We know Craig. We know Craig is obviously an influence as well in your world. But yeah, tell us about the IG live that you did with Ashley. How did that kind of come to be?
Yeah, so it was just something organic. It was something that I had in the back of my mind of like, you know, I've made so many connections and wonderful friendships through social media. And I just thought, you know, I've been given the opportunity to speak to other creators through Instagram or on a podcast. And I just thought, you know what, it would be fun to do something that is authentic to who I am as a person, and just like talk to one of the ladies who I've made a connection with, and just, you know, also afford them the same opportunity and chance to, you know, get more people to see who they are and actually get to know who they are as a person outside of sneakers. So it was just like my whole premise was, let's just be two friends meeting up, chatting over coffee, catching up, and just trying to get to know each other a little better and on a deeper level through an Instagram live. It wasn't really scripted. I try to keep it short because I find if you tend to go over a certain amount of time, you lose interest.
No, I hear you. I hear you. You kind of fade at a certain level. So you guys look like you were flowing though. Like it didn't look like you guys may have ended prematurely. So that's just my opinion from the sidelines.
No, and thank you. I appreciate that. And my whole thing is end on a high note. Don't let it crash and burn and then sign off. End on a high note. Let the person who your guest is leave feeling great about themselves, feeling great about what they've done and what they've presented to whoever is watching or will watch. So it was just about having fun. Honestly, that's all it was. It was just about to have fun, getting to know other people. And oddly enough, like I didn't think it was going to turn into a thing. But I had a few women reach out afterwards being like, I want to do one with you next. And it's like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, you got to make it happen now. You got a whole thing happening right now. So
I know.
So it's good to see. And I think, I think that was the feedback that I saw from a lot of people was that you guys were just vibing. If you looked at the comments that were happening, people were engaged. You know, you don't need a ton of people. You just need those that are going to be there to be engaged, and you have a grand old time.
So. Absolutely. And, you know, when you have a good group of people, and whether it's just like 5, 10 or more than that, as long as you have people engaging and being just positive about the whole thing, it just makes it so much more fun, because you're not just talking to whoever you're hosting, but you also are interacting with your audience that's joined. So it's fun.
Yeah. So when will we see the next IG live?
So that's a good question. I'm trying to, you know, as a podcast, it's like as a podcast host, trying to figure out scheduling, working with people's schedules. So that's where I'm at right now, is just trying to figure it out. But in the meantime, I'm just, you know, creating content as best as I can and putting stuff out there.
Yeah, there you go. So it will come in time. And I think if you don't put a tremendous amount of expectations of when you decide to record it, when you
Yep.
find the time and you find the right person and the schedules align, you just give her a go again, and yeah,
Exactly.
have another great time. Because I think it seemed like that was the point that you're trying to make, is
Yeah.
just have a good time, and I think that was accomplished. So
Yeah. Just have a good time. Don't force anything. Just be natural, be you, you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's something that definitely needs to be commended, because you are as authentic as they come, and that kind of goes with the sneakers you choose. So let's flip the script, since I've used that wonderful segue,
Yep.
and talk about a couple of the latest pickups that you've had, because we were having a conversation prior. So maybe you can
Mhm.
kind of share with the world, what you've been up to, and what's been added to the plethora of sneakers that you have in the background.
So added earlier this year were the Jordan 11s, the velvet navy blues.
Mm-hmm.
Those were like a really needed addition to the rotation. And then more recently, and then I took a break. I took a break because I was like, I need to really pace myself. I really need to be more mindful and conscious about my purchases this year. And then, surprise, surprise, came the premium goods Air Force Ones. I recently did an unboxing, which
Yeah.
again, outside of my comfort zone. I don't usually do things like this. And I need to add, it's like when I did it, I was working from home that day. I was in sweats. My hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and I had not a stitch of makeup on. And I was like, you know what? This is me. You're
That's how it's
gonna get the
happening.
real me. So and so I ended up picking up the Sophia that day, and then the universe was talking to me and was like, Makeway still has your size in the Bella, so you also need to add that to your collection.
Double dip.
So I have the set. I have both pairs to add.
Wow, very nice.
Yeah.
So many would love to know, which one do you prefer? Obviously, Bella is the fresh one that's come through the doorway, but
Yeah.
do you have a preference despite you having both?
I mean, that's a hard question because they're both great for so many different reasons, right? Like the Sophia is great because it's such a classic colorway. It's black and sail, which will go with anything and everything.
Yeah.
And then you have the Bella, which is more of like a summer shoe, is how I would classify it, just
Yeah.
being completely sail with teal and coral and a darker blue just to accent it a little bit. So, I mean, honestly, I don't think it's fair to ask what's my favorite because they're both great for very different reasons.
It's like me talking about your kids. Who's your
I,
favorite? No, you don't
I
have
know, right?
one. You
It's like,
love them
what's your
both equally.
favorite? Like, don't make me pick. I can't pick a favorite.
Fine,
You
fine,
love
fine.
them both for very different reasons, right?
Are they on the floor there, readily available?
They are.
Why
Hold
don't
on.
you give us a gander at them? Let's have a
All
quick peek.
right. So here we have the Sophia, which is the first unboxing that I did. So again, like the hand beating, like you can't go wrong with hand beating. The satin liner, like what's your thoughts on satin liners, Lionel?
I am all for it.
Right?
It makes the shoe totally different than anything else that normally comes out. So
Yeah.
some people will say, oh, it's not going to wear as well, or it's going to tear. But I think when you think of something premium, that's a thumbs up for me.
See, I'm going to disagree with a satin liner, tearing or rubbing faster than the usual liner that's used. I feel like that would wear a lot faster than a satin liner would.
Okay. Fair
Right?
enough.
I mean,
Fair enough.
I just feel like with whatever materials they use, whether it's I don't even know what that's made out of, like polyester or
Probably there's a combination of polyester and some other fabric.
material. So I just feel like that would wear a lot faster than a satin would.
Yeah.
Anyhow, but then you have, they both come with rope laces, already laced, but then, the best detail, I think, are these two little stars.
Okay.
After Make Way had their drop party, we'll say, Abby went and did a live with Jen, who is the owner of Premium Goods in Houston. And, it was so great to learn that the stars on the shoe is her nod to her daughter and her niece, because she calls them her starlings. And that's
Oh,
why there's two stars on both pairs.
yeah. Well, there's always a story with Nike, and that's a beautiful one.
Right. And it's such a good story. I love that, like Jen's been in the game for 20 years. Like, she's paved the way
Yeah.
for other women in the community and in the sneaker game, in the sneaker world, to foray into the world of retail and open up their own stores and make their own and put their own spin on things. So I greatly appreciate the work that she's put in and made gains for other women. She's a true OG, right?
That she is. That she is. Let's see the
The
Bella.
Bella. So this is the Bella. Again, it's like hand beating on the swoosh and the back tab. Again, so here you have like the different colors, right? So these are more like beachy vibes, summer vibes. You have
Mm-hmm.
the teal, a darker blue, and the coral. You've got a teal lace, and I guess like a cream or off-white. The rope laces as well. You have gold eglets as well on both pairs. But yeah, like I'm sorry, but you have to.
Yeah, I think I was easily Team Sophia, but after seeing it now, seeing the Bella, I'm not so sure. I can definitely see you wearing that in the summer. And
Oh, absolutely.
so I'm not
And
100% sure. I think I'm still gonna lean Team Sophia,
Team
but
Sophia.
I think obviously the right outfit, the Bella will look better.
Exactly. Exactly. Like, this is your everyday shoe.
Yeah.
This can be worn every day with pretty much anything because it's so neutral. But then you have Bella, that's like the party. She's the party girl.
Yeah, she is the party girl.
So I don't know. I like I said, they're both wonderful for very different reasons,
Yeah.
and you can't pick a favorite, right? Unless you truly do just love black and sail, or if you are like me and appreciate color.
Yeah. So it's interesting that you gravitate to that shoe and you actually bought both because it's well documented, well, at least in my head, that you really don't like Air Force. You don't wear them. They don't
I
fit
don't,
right. Maybe
they
give us
don't
the
fit right.
breakdown.
No, they don't fit right on my foot. I have weird, oddly shaped feet, and that the top of my foot's very flat. And so there's a lot of space in that toe box. So when I wear them, it's almost like I'm afraid to walk normally because then they'll crease horribly. But with this design, they do fit narrower and they fit a lot tighter on my foot, so I don't have
Mhm.
as much space at the top. So I
Right.
feel like I'll be able to walk normally in these
Yeah.
and not
Well,
worry about creasing them horribly.
yeah, there are crease protectors, but
There are, but
the school is out whether those actually truly work, and they don't feel comfortable when you actually put them on.
I
So,
I was gonna ask them, like, are they even comfortable to wear? Because the whole
mm,
point of them is so that
sus.
you don't crease, so the shoe's not gonna bend, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Anyhow, but no, I'm not a huge Air Force One fan. I have a couple pairs. I do have like a pair of high Air Force Ones.
Hmm.
They fit similar to these, so they don't crease as badly as the low ones do,
Okay.
which is odd. I'm not sure why that's the case. The other pair of Air Force Ones that I have that fit very nicely are the Serena Williams.
Okay. Okay.
I think
And I
for
do
that
like
one,
those.
yeah, they're beautiful. And I think because of that, it's a zipper. And inside there's the elastics like there are on the threes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I definitely
So
do like those ones. I
yeah,
wish they
so I
had them in
think
men's.
Yeah, so I think they just fit tighter on the foot because those elastics help.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So hey, we've got a couple pairs in the last 7 days on the time that
Yeah.
you said you're going to slow down. So if we look kind of into the sneaker future as we always do, those that
Yes.
are enthusiasts, sneakerheads, call yourselves what you want.
Yeah.
What is on your radar in the very near future?
In the very near future, I do like the seafoam, or I guess they're the olive greens coming out
Yeah.
on the 9th. Those are really nice. The fours, those are beautiful. It's a nice green. Down the road, I'm really looking forward to the Skyline ones.
Okay. Yep.
So they're like they look like, in my opinion, they look like a sunrise. The sky when the sun is rising. So you have those beautiful shades of
Yeah.
pink and blue and purple. So those ones I'm looking forward to. What else is coming? I've been trying to not track what's coming down the pipeline because I don't want to get super excited about something and then just like get disappointed. So I'm just being mindful of what's coming.
Yeah.
I think I saw something that's dropping in the holiday season. It's like these mauve ones, highs that look absolutely beautiful.
Okay, so you're not the only one that looked way, way, way ahead. I
Way
looked
ahead.
ahead, and Jordan 11 DMP is coming out, and
Okay.
you may have heard the story on a previous episode of the time that I went to Detroit to buy that
Yep.
shoe and came back with 11 boxes, gold boxes, on
Yes.
top of the 9 boxes that my friends had, and we had to explain it to customs that there are 20 boxes of shoes at a retail of around $3,000-4,000, and yeah, we're going to need to pay
Easily.
a lot of duty. So
Yeah.
they couldn't believe it. We were declaring it, and I remember the custom guy asked, "It's like, can I see it?" And it's like, wow, that's nice.
Yeah.
It's like he couldn't even get over the gold box, like so. Yeah, for those that had bought the DMP, I guess that would have been pandemic. It's a pandemic shoe. I think it was 2020 when that one came out.
Yeah.
We're all in lockdown here in Toronto, and yeah, if you want to complete the set, you won't have the gold box, but you can have both shoes. So
Yeah.
that's definitely one. I think when you think further ahead, that's one that's on my radar. But what else is there?
I'm just trying to think what else is on there. I think those ones are the ones I'm really looking forward to. And then, but I know that Nike also does these surprise releases where you don't expect them because you don't know they're coming. Then all of a sudden they
Yeah,
show up in the sneakers launch calendar and you're like, oh, wait a minute, I did
yeah.
not see it coming. So it'll be interesting to see, what surprise drops they have coming for us.
Oh, there always will be one that we
Always.
know that there's um AMM4 MM on year, or sorry, not 4 but 12 is
12.
the next
Yeah.
shoe that's supposed to come out. So for
Yeah.
those that have the other ones, I'm not sure why they chose 12. I easily could have settled for 6 or an 11, or they could have done so many
Yeah.
different ones. They could have just gone with a 5 to keep the numbers in order, but they
Yeah.
went with 12. So yeah, it is what it is. But that's definitely one that's out there. Are there any other ones that you're thinking of?
Not off the top of my head. Those are it for now. Again, trying to be mindful.
Yeah, being mindful, geez,
Trying to be mindful.
between mortgage rates and a variety of other things, you
The price
definitely
of
have.
groceries. Let's just say the
Oh,
price of groceries.
don't even start how much groceries cost these days.
Oh, I know.
And yeah, in between that and putting a kid in 5 activities, and then she comes to you and wants to be in horse camp. So yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
that's fun.
yeah, my daughter is amazing, but I can see it's going to cost money. If I didn't know before, it's definitely going to happen now. So
Yeah, for sure.
good news that I already have that DMP 11, and I don't need it because I bought it in 2006. So hallelujah, don't need that one. And really, yeah, I think when you look at, I think if I were to say versus the ones that I like, let's look at the ones that I think people are going to be excited about.
Yeah.
So there are a couple twos that are out there. I think the UNC to
Oh yeah.
Chicago women's 2 low, that
Hmm.
might be the nicest shoe on in the market that will happen in the first 3 months. That's my personal opinion. I think it looks incredibly clean. I think there is a ton of people that will be buying the extended sizes if it does come in extended sizes. I know there's a
Yeah.
ton of dudes that want that shoe. So I
Yeah.
think that's one to be excited about.
Yeah.
The Jordan 3 white cement is reappearing
Oh yeah.
after not being on the market for 10 years. I remember I bought it at
Right.
HOH in 2013. So 2023, here it is again. And yeah, we got a couple other ones that, we got the Justin Timberlake halftime shoe. And then there was the free throw
Mhm.
one line from probably 5 or 6 years ago. It was at the Jordan store, but this one is like the OG one, and people are going to be bending over backwards to get this. I don't know if they were even bending over backwards to get it when it launched 10 years ago. The supply was probably more limited, but there's a
Yeah.
ton of pairs of this, and it will sell out, and people will do whatever it takes to get it. This is the,
Yeah.
of the last 6 months, this is the one that's going to pass the baton from the
Mhm.
lost and found Jordan 1. This will
Yeah.
be the new lost and found Jordan 1, 100%.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
I think there's one other one. Oh, the black and white Jordan 1 85. So it's an OG
Mm,
colorway.
yeah.
People will be absolutely
Absolutely.
clamoring
Yeah.
for those. I think
For
there's
sure.
some other cool ones. Like there's Jordan 4 Craft. It's not as nice as the women's 4 that's coming out. The women's one is better. And then
Yeah.
there's a Jordan Craft Low 2 that they're coming out. So I think they're
Right.
doing a whole series on
They're
craft.
doing. Oh, now that you speak of twos, it's like there's I think an Easter one coming out. It's
Yes,
like
there is.
pink.
Yeah.
It's a two low and it's pink. And I think it looks like it's corduroy.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. And I
Yeah.
think we're gonna get a huge run on twos this year, which I am, if
I'm
you
all
know
for.
me, pro
I'm all for the
to the day I
two.
die, and let's do it.
Well, and I feel like the people who or collectors who are not a fan of the two appreciate the two low.
Yep.
Because I get like the high may not be everyone's jam, and I get it. And I feel like the two low is what people will clamor for. But I love it too, no matter what.
Yeah, I think that people treat the two like it's the Jordan brand's ugly stepchild between 1 and 9. I don't know why it gets a bad rap. People like 8s, people like 7s more than 2s, but
Yeah,
two is just so underrated. So
it is.
underrated. The materials,
Yeah.
the design, like and it changed how we thought about
Hmm.
what Jordan was wearing prior. He was wearing the Airship, and then he was wearing the Jordan 1, which the shoes almost look identical
Right.
without a couple pieces of overlay that are different. But then we
Yeah.
went to the 2, and we took the swoosh off the shoe, and it looked
Yeah.
totally different. And
Yeah.
then people jumped. I think maybe the thing is you went from the 1, which was kind of the iconic, that was the first shoe, and
Yeah.
then you had this groundbreaking shoe, which was the 3 with the
Yeah.
elephant print, and how it was a totally different shoe than what was on the
Yeah.
marketplace. In encapsulated air, and with a visible air bubble, it just
Hmm.
looks totally different than anything else in that. And I think that's where the 2 gets lost in the shuffle.
Yeah. 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 That makes sense.
Yeah, so it will be very interesting to see how people decide to clamor to, whether it's the 2 or whether it's one of these other shoes that
Mhm.
people get, super excited. I know there's other brands that, there's a whole bunch of Black History Month shoes. So Curry's got a shoe.
Mhm.
I don't know if you just saw the post by Vanessa Bryant, but there's 2. Obviously, there's a Reverse Grins coming this year, but there
Oh.
is a Black History Month Kobe 6, and
Oh.
it's not what I would think you would do with a Black History Month,
Okay.
We had the Mombotica that came out last year. If you try to buy it now, it's easily $1,000, maybe 1,500. But this
Right.
one is like white, gray. It's kind of like almost an off-white. It looks premium like you wouldn't believe. So
Hmm.
really cool that it's coming. It's got to come out this month. No one knows how it's being released, but
Hmm.
Vanessa just opened up a box and put it on Instagram, and people
Right.
are. I think it's got 50,000 likes easy, and then it launched. It got shared yesterday. So
Wow.
yeah, so Vanessa's giving us the hype, like nobody's business right now. So
Good for
very,
her.
very interesting to see what that looks like. So I know we
Yeah.
were talking about Air Force before, but let's
Yeah.
talk about the Air Force that so many people are clamoring about, but I don't really like, and that's the Tiffany Air Force One. I know you
Oh
have
my.
an opinion one way or another. Please share.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it doesn't give me Tiffany vibes. I'm not, it's it's on the boring side personally. Both colorways that were released, I
Mm-hmm.
know we saw the black ones first, and then we saw the Tiffany blue ones with the black tongue. I'm like, still doesn't do it for me.
Gotcha.
Right?
Yeah,
Like, and for $400 too. And I'm like, no, 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 no,
they
no.
they totally all that it says, it has Tiffany written on the shoe, and if my
That's it.
name was Tiffany, I'd want it, but if my name is not Tiffany, I don't want it. it
I
it
don't want
just it just doesn't do that brand justice.
right.
It doesn't resemble anything. Like me personally, I like the Tiffany dunk, but I think they even missed on parts of the materials that are on the shoe. I think the black is
Yeah,
good, but the rest of the colorways that are pieces of the colorway that are on the shoe, I think it's a
yeah.
total swing and a miss.
It's a miss. And I don't know why or whoever was the designer behind the shoe. I'm like, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah. I
Like,
don't
I don't
know.
know if
I'm looking at it right now. Like you can see it here. It's not special. It's
it's
just
not special. Well,
not.
that's just it. It's not special. Just because you
Yeah.
slap on Tiffany
Yeah. And
on
it's
an
Tiffany blue. That's what makes it so special.
and it's
Not.
really not even Tiffany blue. It's
Yeah.
slightly off. It's not the Tiffany blue that a lot of women are very familiar with.
Yes, this is true.
The choice of black throws me a little bit
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
because,
know.
like, the only thing that's black on the Tiffany box, I believe, is just the lettering.
I believe that's it. That's it. But
I
like
think
there's
that's
like you
it.
look at that shoe and it's like all black.
It's all black with the supposed Tiffany blue swoosh, and I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And I think is it suede? I think it's suede too.
It is. It is.
I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking when they designed it, when they were picking materials, when they perhaps even picked the Air Force One.
Yeah. Guess what? They should have consulted Karen and they didn't, and they blew it.
Listen, the reimagined pictures that I've seen that people have done on these, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, so much better, way better. Like
Yeah.
everything from a truer Tiffany blue to more of a white and silver, like that to me screams Tiffany.
Mm-hmm. I can agree. I can agree.
If they had maybe done something like that on an Air Force One, maybe then it would be more interesting, and it would be, yes, I see this is a Tiffany collab
Yeah.
with Nike. I get it now. But you look at what's being released and you're like, no, I don't get it. I don't see it. I don't see that connection with the brand and Nike. I don't get it.
Yeah. I don't know. You see that, Ambush, they got another shoe, and there's some other ones that we're gonna see, it's the way of the lay of the land now that people just continue to find collaborations to do.
Mhm.
And I don't know if there's a collaboration out there that I would love to see them do. I don't know. Like I just kind of I'm
Yeah.
waiting to see what the next one, so I can be extremely a sneaker snob and be extremely judgmental of whether it's good or not. But is there a collaboration that if you would wave the magic Kayinsnkrland wand, is there a shoe that you would love to see them kind of put together? A certain model with collaborating with a certain brand?
A certain model. I don't know. I think I would leave that for them to figure out.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, like I did another live and someone had asked this person had asked me the same question where it was like, who out there, like what celebrity out there hasn't had a collab yet? And who would you want to see that with? And it's like, I think I said like Missy Elliott or Queen Latifah.
I think those are two good ones.
I think either women would kill a collab.
Yeah. I think Missy still is with still
Adidas.
has ties with Adidas, so I think it's got to be an Adidas collab. But yeah, we could
Like,
easily
I
get
would totally like she would kill that
yeah.
design. She would totally kill that design. And so I would be really, and I would love to see what shoe she would pick, whether it be a Superstar or a Stan Smith or something completely different, a Forum, like just
I would
something.
you just said the shoe. I think it's got to be an
Forum.
Adidas form. Like I think that is the shoe that by far has the most traction. Like they did Home Alone 1 and 2, they did the
Yeah.
Grinch,
Okay.
and go
The
ahead.
Home Alone 1 and 2, I do not like.
Oh, really?
Well,
I
maybe the first. Okay, so
The
the Home
first
Alone 1,
one I
that's the
love, the
red one,
second
right?
one is
That's
okay.
the second one. I was like, it's kind of it's
Boring.
just it's more it's meh. Like I'm
Yeah.
like, well, I don't get it. I don't get it. The first one, because it looks like the house has been blown up and
Yeah.
it's been through the gauntlet that Kevin McAllister had set up for Marvin. Oh my gosh, what's his name? Marvin. I
It's
can't.
Marvin. Let's just go with Marvin because
Mark.
that's his
We'll
first
go to
name.
Mark.
So
And I'm like, it looks like the shoe was the aftermath of the gauntlet, right? Then you have the second one, and I'm like, I don't. It's meh. I'm like,
but you know why?
mm.
Because the second movie is meh in comparison to the
Yeah,
first one.
it's not as good as the first one. Agreed.
Yeah. So I think if I were to throw a collaboration, and they've done one already before. I
Mm,
would just love to see part two. So I think I want to go back to 2014, give or take.
okay.
And there was a collaboration between Spike Lee and the Jordan brand. We obviously know that Spike
Oh,
Lee has been a huge
yeah.
supporter, since the Jordan 2. There was a 40 Acre and a Mule Jordan. Well, actually, it was the 4 Green Jordan 1 that they did, extremely limited. I think you could only get it in one place in Brooklyn where Spike Lee was from. I would
Mm-hmm.
love to see them do another shoe. I'm a Knicks fan by my ride or die, so I would
Yep.
love to see them do another shoe. And I think that would be great. The Knicks are playing a little bit better these days, so that can quickly change depending on what they do at the trade deadline by Thursday. But
Right.
I think Spike Lee and I think if I were to line it up, I would do it next year as
Mhm.
part of a special collaboration that they could launch in Foot Locker. We have a beautiful store in Brooklyn, and Foot Locker turns 50 years old next year.
Oh
So
wow.
that would be a perfect thing to drop in that store. One store only. We sell it there, and that's done. I am now telling how marketing should do things. They got a year to figure it out. Ready, go.
You in their ear a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I know we've covered kind of the topics that we had today. So I do have, for everyone that's listening, again, you can find this. It will be on YouTube, it will be on Spotify, it'll be on Instagram. You will be able to find clips of it. Obviously, then if you use Apple podcasts, you can find it there, iHeartRadio, so Google, however you consume podcasts, you can find it. But the special announcement of part why Karen is on today's podcast is Karen will be a quasi co-host moving forward. So throughout season 3 into season 4 and beyond, Karen will be a co-host that will show up from time to time. We will have special conversations to have. I think we've already brainstormed on a couple things, but Karen, welcome to the Sneaks and Life family. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. I'm so
So,
honored and I'm very excited to take this journey with you. And thank you so much for asking me to
yeah.
do this with you. Like, it's such an honor, and I'm just very I feel blessed, and I feel very thankful and grateful. So I appreciate it. And I appreciate the friendship that we've formed here.
Yeah. Love over sneakers. So I would tell you that you've definitely been one of the most engaging guests that we've had, and that's why you've come back. Um, and I think we've just had a great time in talking about,
Yeah.
you know, sneaker culture. And I think there's so many things that go along with like how launches are done and
Mhm.
how stores are even laid out. So I think there is just so many things. And then I think the big thing that we've talked about from the very first podcast is the sneaker community, particularly the community that involve women.
Yeah.
And that is ever growing. And we have stores like Makeway, and we
Mhm.
have stores like Foot Locker creating spaces for women to shop. And
Yeah.
you were very adamant and very inspired by sharing your story on the very first podcast that you were on. And that has obviously led to so many tremendous dialogues that we've had, both on and behind the mic. So
Yeah.
to me, it was, you're a natural fit to, to have continue to have these conversations. And I think there's just so many things that we can continue to tackle in the future. But
Yeah.
Steve Rhymes in Life Nation, and obviously those that listen on a regular basis, I think will thoroughly enjoy. I get tons of good feedback on the episodes that you've been on, so it was a pretty easy choice for me to choose you. And I as I kind of reflected on 22, it's like I'd like to change it a little bit, and without
Mhm.
putting it on specific, you have to be on this episode or you have to be in, it has to be this day. We're just gonna let it ride. You may not be on for 2 months, then you may be on 2 episodes in a row. So
Yeah.
however it works and however many we decide to record, you kind of have a permanent side chair here virtually, that you
Yay.
will jump in and out from time to time whenever the schedules kind of align.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. And again, like, I'm very thankful and grateful for you allowing me into part of the Sneak Rhymes and Life podcast
Yeah.
family. So, it's truly an honor. So thank you very much. And I
Uh,
appreciate your faith in me in being a co-host with you.
Well, we've taken you from now one episode to 2 episodes. Now here you are on episode 3. You're
Yep.
doing your own boxing, you're doing your own IG live, and now you have a waiting list for people to get on. You have it under control.
Listen.
This is just fun, and we're just literally on a camera and behind a mic, and people are gonna listen, and that's that.
And that's that. And honestly, when it's all said and done, it's truly about having fun.
Yeah. And I think
So
that's why I started this 2 years ago. And you're just gonna come along for the ride every once in a while.
you do. You
Yeah.
do.
Well, everyone, that is today's episode. So you will see this pretty quickly. It probably will be out tomorrow, because this was a pretty flawless one. That there's not going to be a ton of editing. But thanks so much for everyone from listening, from Lionel and my new co-host Karen. We'll see you on the next episode. Appreciate everyone listening, and everyone have a good night. Peace.